Hello and welcome to sCarSurgeries. Today we'll be playing with a 1997 BMW 323i in manual. As you can tell, it's very shiny and very clean, and I was surprised that this car is 24 years old and looks this good. The car is stock standard, as you can see. Stock 15-inch rims, beautiful dark blue paint, clear lenses all around, some ugly yellow plates. They will be changed very soon. Let's have a look inside. So this is not an M Sport model, it's just a standard 323. So comfy seats, manual gearbox with some wood on it, standard steering wheel, standard stereo. You can see that it's got no damage to the leather, a little bit of wear but nothing crazy, and the back seat is good as well. This one has no sunroof, but the headliner has been redone at some point and it looks really good, really nice. This car suffers from a stuck open thermostat, and the way I diagnose that is that it takes quite a long time to warm up to the normal operating temperature. And if you drive on the freeway or if you drive on a long downhill road where there's not much load on the engine, the temperature actually starts coming down to about a quarter. So to resolve that today, we've got a brand new thermostat housing, we've got BMW coolant and demineralized water. We've got a selection of sockets and a torque wrench, and obviously the jack with some stands and an old pan and funnel. This is the M52 B25 engine, so 2.5 litre 6. What we're taking off today is the thermostat and the housing which is in there. So in order to get to it, the fan needs to come off, the fan shroud and all these plastics on the front. So the first thing is this plastic cover needs to come off. We've got 4 8mm screws that I'm going to do now. And we've got clips as well. So here we are under the car. That's the radiator and everything else that goes with it. You can see the fan a bit. What we are after is this little tap here to drain the coolant. So this will drain the coolant out of the radiator, and then to drain the coolant out of the engine, there is another little screw that sits on the engine block. Right behind the extractors. Camera can't find it, and there it is. So very conveniently placed right next to the oxygen sensor, just to get it wet. But that's the guy there that we will take off to drain the coolant. So we need to get the coolant out of the heating system as well. So what we need to do is set the temperature to max and fan on the minimum, just so the coolant comes out of the heating system. So ignition, turn the music off, fan on minimum, temperature on maximum. Let's get ready for the waterfall. We'll leave that to drain, and once that's finished, we'll open the one on the block. So here we go. I've taken the bolt off the engine block and it made a mess. The coolant goes everywhere. I wasn't able to catch most of it, so some of it is on the floor. It's still dripping. Let me see if I can show you where it's dripping from. There it is. There's the hole. 13mm bolt got taken out, and waterfall happened, and the mess that I will have to clean up Yay. The next thing I've done is I've taken the radiator fan off. Basically for that you need a 32mm tool. The tool goes onto the radiator fan nut and you turn anti-clockwise, so you would turn to the right. The problem now is to take the fan shroud off. I had to disconnect this little hose here, and now the big problem is another hose in there that's connected to the overflow bottle. That's really hard to take off, but there is a little shell that holds the hose, so once I take that off, all this will be able to come out. Alright, change of plans. The hose is not coming off. I managed to pull the fan shroud up together with the bottle just enough so I can access the thermostat and the housing. So that's a win in my book. Okay, this is going to be a bit hard to see, but I'll try my best to show you on camera what I'm actually doing. So to get to the thermostat housing, to take it off, this hose will need to come off as well as the one on the bottom. And then we've got a screw here, and another one on the bottom. We also have to take off the hook, the support hook for the engine, so that's one there and the first one on the bottom. So let's get to it. So that's the offending thermostat there. The seal was around it. I've taken it off. So now I can take this out. You will notice that there is an arrow on it that needs to point up. And there's an arrow on the new one as well. New thermostat with the seal going in. The arrow is pointing up. And the brand new thermostat housing. So now everything is back together. We just need to tighten it. So I've got my torque wrench set to 10 Newton meters to tighten the small bolts. And then this one here will be 22. Alright, so things are now ready for the coolant. I didn't bother putting the plastic cover back on. I can do that later once I make sure that everything's fine. The fan is back in place, thermostat housing, fan shroud. So now we're gonna start putting the coolant in. Heater goes on high and fan goes on low. So what I'm using here is the original BMW coolant concentrate, which needs to be mixed half-half with distilled water. I've already done that here. So now I start pouring. So here we go, the coolant system is bled. The temperature is on half as it should be. We also have heating in the car. So that should be that. I've checked the coolant, there is no leaks. It doesn't need any more, but I will recheck again in about a week. So there it is, guys. That's how we change the thermostat and the thermostat housing on a BMW M52 engine. This is something that could easily be done at home. There's no point in paying $700-800 to a mechanic to do this. It only costed me a couple of $100 for the parts and the coolant. As always, thank you for watching and please subscribe.